Hello students, today I am going to explain you the poem Weighing to the Seasons of Sweet Silent Thought, which is written by William Shakespeare. Let me tell you about William Shakespeare. William Shakespeare was born in 1564 in Stratford-on-Avon. In his early age, he came to London. Here he became famous as an actor, dramatist, poet, and later a shareholder of the famous theatre of London, which is known as the Globe Theatre. Shakespeare wrote two narrative poems and over 31 plays and over 150 sonnets. When Shakespeare returned to London, when he returned his hometown, Stratford-on-Avon, he was a rich and very famous person. Here he wrote the largest house of his town. Shakespeare died in 1616. This poem, Weighing to the Seasons of Sweet Silent Thought, is addressed to Shakespeare's friend, which is most probably W.H. In this poem, Shakespeare speaks about his past losses and grievances. He speaks about his friend. He says that whenever he thinks of past, he becomes sad because he wanted to achieve many things in past which he could not achieve. But the losses of many friends makes him very sad. And when he remembers his friend, all of his sorrows and miseries vanish away. So let me explain you the poem line to line. Weighing to the seasons of sweet silent thought, I summon up remembrance of things past. I sigh the lack of many a thing I sought, and with old woes new veil my dear time's waste. In this stanza, Shakespeare says, when to the seasons of sweet silent thought, I summon up remembrance of things past. In this stanza, he says that whenever he silently meditates or thinks about past things, the happenings, the past happenings, whenever he in his silent mood, in meditative mood, he thinks of past. I sigh the lack of many a thing I sought, and with old woes new veil my dear time's waste. Whenever he thinks of past memories, he becomes sad, and he mourns over the past losses. In this stanza, Shakespeare wants to say that whenever he thinks of past memories, whenever he meditates on past happenings, he becomes sad, and he mourns and wails over the things which has vanished away, which has gone from his life. Then can I drown an eye unused to flow for precious friends hid in deathless night, and weep afresh love's long since cancelled woe, and mourn the expense of many a vanished sight. In second stanza, Shakespeare says that then can I drown an eye unused to flow. He says that whenever he thinks of past happenings, past things, past memories, he becomes sad, and he says that then can I drown an eye unused to flow. Shakespeare, who is not habitual to cry, but when he thinks of his friends who has dead, and when he thinks of past things which has gone away from his life forever, when he thinks about them, uh, tears roll down from his eyes, although he is not habitual to cry. And weep afresh love's long since cancelled woe, and mourn the expense of many a vanished sight. And when he thinks of past, he thinks of past in past things, past memories, past happenings. Um, he cries afresh. He cries again, as if those things uh, had vanished away from his life just now. In the last stanza, he says, "Then can I grieve at grievances foregone, and heavily from woe to woe tell over the sad account of forebemoaned mourn, which I knew pay as if not paid before." In this stanza, Shakespeare says that when he thinks of past uh, incidents, past happenings in his life, he 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 thinks with heavy heart of the sad. He thinks uh, of sad events in his life one by one, and those events or those incidents make him cry, make him shed tears, and he cries, he sheds tear as if he has not shed tear when his friend had died in past. But if the while I think on thee, dear friend, all losses are restored and sorrows end. In the last stanza, Shakespeare pays homage or comments on his friend. He he says that whenever he thinks of his dear friend, who is WH, he says that whenever he thinks of his dear friend, all his losses, all his miseries, all his sorrows end, and he um, and they are restored. So in this poem, Shakespeare says that uh, whenever he thinks, whenever in his meditative mood, when he is silent and he thinks of sweet things of his past, when he thinks of sweet memories of his past, and his mind runs to his dear friend who um, who died long ago. And when he thinks of his friend, tears come down from his eyes. Although he is not habitual to cry, but whenever he thinks of his friend who is no more in his life, the tears roll down from his eyes. And he thinks of many a things which he wanted to achieve in his life, but he could not achieve them. So he becomes sad, and he make he becomes sad and sorrowful, as if those bad those sad events of his life has just happened. In the last stanza, he pays homage to his friend by saying that whenever he thinks of his dear friend, all of his losses, all of his sorrows are restored, and he become calm and peaceful. So this poem is a sonnet which is written by William Shakespeare. Um, in the first sonnet is a poem of 14 lines. Uh, in Shakespearean sonnet, there are three stanzas, uh, means three quatrains and a couplet. a quatrain is a stanza of four lines, and couplet is two lines which rhyme together. In the three stanzas, Shakespeare uh, speaks about the loss of his friends and loss of many things which he wanted to achieve. And in the last two lines, he reaches the climax of the poem where he says that whenever he thinks of his dear friend, all of his sorrows are restored. And thus, thank you.